Peace, 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 everyone. This is your girl, Sunshine. First and foremost, I know y'all are used to seeing me live, but this episode of Couples of the Arts is actually a pre record, and my guest for the evening is so awesome. But before I get into my guest, let's do some. What is it called? Paying the bills. um, well, just to keep you guys on notice, this is the children's book that my sons and I created. They are affectionately known as the Royals, and it's titled I Can Do Anything. It is basically an inside look of our mornings on the way to school. And this was something that my boys said that they would love to share with other kids because at their school they do social emotional learning. And this book is right along the lines of that. It's also to promote bonding experience with the parents because it's dual as an activity book as well. So the whole book is also an activity book towards the end where we have crossword puzzles, word searches, and it's also the story in a template so that the families and their children can sit down together and create their own story just using our template and our model because all of us don't want to grow up to be the same thing. So this is an opportunity to reinforce children to use their imagination and their creativity. And it's also therapeutic at the same time. More activities that families stay together and do together. They bond. They create stronger bonds. So I just know growing up with my elders that the things that we did together, that's how I started performing actually. Being involved, they were into activism, so going along, sharing with them, being a part of those events and finding out my own talents and special gifts, that was a way that I can share it with them. Next up, I host a open mic on Thursdays at Pizza Twist in Concord on Dorita Road. Due to the work and some overtime, I haven't been able to be there the last two Thursdays, but we will be doubling back up starting next week. Um, Pizza Twist is also a sponsor, so you got coupons when you go in. You see the QR code, scan this, pause this on the replay so you can scan the code. You let them know, hey, I happen to be watching Sunshine's podcast and I saw your advertisement. That's your discount right there. And coming up, September 30th is officially 1 year that Sunshine Vibrations has been on the Blast Music 24 network. And with that, we got a celebration in store where I will be at the Rich Lounge hosting the party slash open mic slash slam, which there will be a cash prize. So you guys come out. There's an Eventbrite link that I will be putting into the chat. And this is to give you an idea of what the venue looks like. Tickets will be $20 on Eventbrite, 23 with the fees. But I am absorbing the fee if you buy what I call the quatrain, the 4-pack ticket. So the 4-pack tickets, instead of $80, you will get the 4-pack for $60, and that's $60 flat. It will be a $10 entry fee. Once you get there, if you want to participate in the slam to add on to, the cash prize pot. So the idea is whatever is brought in will be matched. So who knows? The cash prize could even be $300. I'm just saying. And this would be a nice kickoff because this will be every year. So to promote All the poets that I've had on the show already might, even as the years go on, have a feature at these events, and it'll always be a yearly slam. So after everybody does all their Southern Fried slams and the slams throughout the summer, y'all can either end the summer or kick off the fall with the Shine Vibration Slam. So we shall see how all these things plan out. But I am excited. I can't wait. I appreciate those that have been supportive since this has started. And without further ado, I would like to speak about my guest for this evening. Now, I have been blessed to meet this woman through producers V. D. Ray, Elliot, and Rock, and I saw her first on their podcast, and I was just taken back. When I say I was blown away, I was blown away. She is very deep. She's very personable. She's very touching. She's very uplifting. You already know my poetry, like I tell folks, it's about healing, it's about activism, and she is right aligned with all of that and some. And I just was like, hey, I have to get the opportunity to have her on my podcast. But this is the special thing. When I tell y'all, I really mean this. This is really my intent. She is over in West Africa, the Ivory Coast. So when I say that I really get to meet some of the dopest poets out here, spoken word artists, I really do. Um, so matter of fact, let me show her picture real quick. This is Cindy H. Nene. She's also this past year's International Representative of the Year, Promoter of the Year for Big Records. This was 2023 official finalist for the ISSA Awards. So, you know, a lot of her poetry has been reproduced as music, you know, so it kind of adds on to, as I go to events and I meet other folks, every rapper that I get introduced to, we share information. The first thing they say is, hey, what you do? He was like, because I hear it in your voice. Or she was like, oh, I know you do something. And when I say, oh, I'm a spoken word artist, oh, you're a lyricist. You know, they just, we wanted the same. You just don't have music towards yours. So I like how those of us that are in the know, you know, they know. And before I bring her on, let me just do a quick snippet, trying to do my best and get in the habit of having a poem for each episode. But I be so excited about my guests that I just be ready to jump in to bring them on. So this one here is: the sun's reflection permeates my soul, quenching the everlasting thirst for oneness, you know, alike, with a sapio appetite, striving to make the weight light, and loves deeply and progresses daily, destroying the remnants of past days, delusions and contusions, with the only conclusions are solutions. Egos are broken, no need for pollution, just building on positive affirmations and manifestations. So, without further ado, let's come on and welcome Miss Cindy H. Nene. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. And congratulations on your new book. Congratulations on your anniversary of the show.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for having me.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
So,
welcome to West Africa.
yes, 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 West Africa. So, you know, I have a good friend of mine who I met due to the erotic poetry world, and she ended up moving to Thailand. It was really a vacation, and COVID caused her to be stationary there, and
Right.
she is living the time of her life. And I was able to have her on there, so that's why I was like, no worries, no rush, we could do a pre-record, you know. And it just so happened Very, very good friend of mine since diapers. Their birthday is actually on Friday. So I was like, I got to get this pre recording because I want to be there. You know, when people don't ask of much and you get that person that ask a request of you, it's hard to try not to,
Exactly.
oblige, because when you know that person don't ask for nothing and the one thing they asked for was your presence to be there, it's like, yo, by hook or by crook, we got to make it happen. So
Well, as I was listening to your poem, I hear a little bit of a rap beat in there. And I think that that would be a perfect rap song. It's awesome.
you know, and I love that. Thank you for that because hip hop, yes. I'm an 81 baby, so hip hop has definitely been, very, very instrumental in my life. Like I talk about how certain songs create memories, which basically is like a soundtrack of my life. I actually did a poem that is based off of Raheem Devon's song "You."
Wow.
Because you know how he goes, every word of this song is going to be about you. Well, I flipped it and
Mhm.
put poem, and I titled
Wow.
it "Loved Musically."
Mhm.
So
Oh,
I used different titles and parts of the songs to create the poems, and I spit it in on Clubhouse. And shouts out to Poetic Black. He has Iron Sharpen Iron Room on there, and he said that I had like 72 references in that song.
wow. Yes, I
Sh-
believe.
shout out to Mouthpiece and and the Wolf Pack, because they also was like, hey, I believe it was Sister Candy. She said, yo, that whole poem was a mixtape in a poem. It's like that was dope. Like just the concept, and I like with the creativity, because with spoken word, for me, there's no limits. You
Exactly.
can write anything. You can create anything, any picture, any story, because you are the curator. You are the conductor. You are the artiste. So, what you pull from your creative side, it's amazing to see the reactions, like from people who are on the receiving end. So, being in a room, I don't care, virtually or in person, with people who really do this, like, this is their forefront, that's it, I ain't doing nothing else, this is how I make my bread and butter. To have them be like, yeah, sunshine, you right there with us, we need you in this room. Clubhouse is so, look, popping. They got so much going on. I get pinged and invited in so many rooms, but because I have other things going on, the type of work that I do, working for the county, and then here, I'm really, really focusing on the podcast and getting the brand out more. So, I dip in those other rooms when I can. But
Wow.
for you, when did poetry become a part of you? And you could slide into that after you let the folks know what you feel you want them to know about you.
Okay. Well, number one, I'm a survivor of how do I put it? Just abusive relationships, and pretty much that's what got me started. I was in church, living for God, and I had a prayer life. And so one night I said, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this constructive, and I'm going to take what I feel and the knowledge that I know and put it together, and start writing the book. And so that's what happened. I would sit and I would write. I would put my little headphones on, listen to my little gospel music, and I was just taken away, and I would just be writing. And sometimes I didn't even know what I was writing. I was just putting it together, and that's what happened. And that the first 7 days of in the very beginning of my writing, the first 7 days, I wrote a complete book and published it on the eighth day. And that first book was written in March of 2017. It's Poetry of Enlightenment,
Mhm.
and it turned out really well. I didn't have any pictures in that book, but my second book does have pictures. It speaks about life. It speaks about hurts, pains, struggles, disappointments, and but there's another side to that. There's a side that brings joy. There's a side that brings happiness. There's a side that brings healing. And I didn't know that in the beginning when I first wrote it, it was for somebody. It was whoever was needing it. It wasn't even about me, but it came from me. It came from what was inside of me.
That's
So,
right.
and I didn't realize that I started healing through my own writing.
That's
The
right.
healing is still in process, but I am healing, and I'm stronger through my weaknesses, and that's what my writing did for me. And I met some people online, an artist, and I told him about my song. I'm sorry, my poem of "I Hear His Whisper,"
Okay.
and that became a song about 6 months later. Oh, it's online. It's on YouTube, and
Okay.
I have it here. If you, when we get time, well, I'll read it, and I think it will explain a lot of things. And finding out later, after I gave, we signed the contract, and I gave him my lyrics. It was a prophetic song that had been waiting for years,
Okay.
and it became very big.
Gotcha.
We
Gotcha.
never know. We never know through our writing what's going to happen, what's going to bring. So we just have to wait and see what the outcome of it's going to be. I
That's
enjoy it. I love it.
that's right, because it's you never really know. You know what I'm saying? Like you think you're just doing this one thing
Hmm.
and let me just get this out because this is what I need and this is what I want. I feel the need to share this, but then it's like no, it's so much more than that. Once somebody receives it, it's so much more than that. And you're thinking that it's just, oh, just something I want to share. And it becomes and manifests into so much more.
Yes,
It creates like
yes,
an imprint
yes.
in the world, you know?
And poetry isn't just now. It's Bible based, and the Old Testament book of Psalms is a book of poetry, which became songs. So just however your destiny leads you, and what you do, what you love to do, will take you on a long journey. It's never ending.
That's right. That's right. So, where are you originally from?
Well, I was born and raised in Arkansas, but I lived in Kansas for about 17 years.
Okay, wait, I got a question. I know you have no control over the spelling. And I know this is probably you probably know where I'm going with this. But
Okay.
as a child, I always said that looks like Arkansas.
Yes, that's what people call it, Arkansas. Really, it is Arkansas, but we say it Arkansas. Why, I don't know. Actually, it's not spelled the way it's supposed to be spelled. It
Hmm.
was a W on the end. They changed it to an S, and that was so
Gotcha.
many years ago. A lot of history about that.
See,
But
yeah, I definitely had to ask that question because we crack jokes about it all the time. When they list it, I'd be like Arkansas.
yeah, so I came here. I came to Ivory Coast in 2019 through my music, through I Hear His Whisper. I found my husband, and I saw him. I was looking for something on YouTube for the artist that I had contracted with. And
Hmm.
when I saw my husband, I said, "Oh my goodness, that guy is hot." But he's not my type. But here I am, and I prayed about it, and I had a dream um, of him, and exactly when I met him, it was exactly the way it was. And my pastor came to my house to pray for me, and he prayed for me, and he said, "Sister Clark, your husband isn't in Kansas. It's not even in U.S. He's in Africa." None of us knew that, but we were led by the Spirit. So I changed my prayer about getting a new husband. I said, "No, God, you got to give me a husband. I don't know where he's at, but I want the husband you have for me. I don't want just any husband."
I heard that.
So I met him, and I said, "Well, I will just say to him, I will contact him on Facebook, see if he's on Facebook." So I found him, and I sent him a message. I said, "Well, I'm such and such, and I'm from such and such place, and I said, I love your music. And so he took him about a week to answer me. And so he answered me, and he says, "Are you married?" No. So that's how our relationship started. We started talking about 10 months, and then I ended up getting on a plane and coming here 10,000 miles away from home. I've been here since.
I know that's right.
I'm a songwriter. He's a songwriter. He's an artist. He's a singer. He's a performer. So I mean, not every day you get a songwriter and a artist put together. And so
Yeah.
it was really awesome.
So now that's going to lead me into another question. I want to segue into the couples of the arts
Okay.
because you know how they say two struggling artists, and not, I don't, you know how the picture is always painted because not every artist is
Mhm.
struggling, but you know,
Right.
two struggling artists is not going to make it, they can't make it, is destined for failure, or you're always told, or like the movies have portrayed, at
Mhm.
least I know that was the gist for the 80s going into the early 90s, where one person is a professional and they're dating a struggling artist, whether they're a
Mhm.
painter or actor who waits tables, and it always
Mhm.
shows that there's a strain on the relationship. It
Mhm.
never shows the side that actually works. It's always on the negative
Right.
aspect. And I'm like, but me being someone that's of the artist community, I
Mhm.
see a lot of viable relationships that are filled
Yeah.
with love and prosperity. So it's like, again, I want to use my platform to highlight and shine what,
Mhm.
you know, the masses don't allow us to see. So how has
Right.
that worked for both of y'all?
Well, I got over here, and this man already had the marriage license before I got here. He had it, everything straight up. And so when I got here, we got married 7 days after my arrival. Now, mind you, we talk about it all the time. What if I had not been who I said I was? I'm 10,000
Yeah,
miles away from home. I'm in an airport. Nobody speaks English. It's a
yeah,
French country. So
that's
I
right.
just thank God that it was led by prayer, and I checked him out and everything. So, but I tell you, not every marriage is 100% lovey. You have your issues. You have your time where you have to adjust to one another. You have to learn to be in a different culture, and that's where a lot of times there's a failure because the cultures are misunderstood, the
That's right.
languages are misunderstood. My here, everybody says, "Well, your language is too strong. Your English is strong." Even my husband sometimes doesn't understand what I'm saying, and that can lead to a misunderstanding. But my husband is I mean, I'm just blessed that he is who he is, and supporting one another in all we do. I'm his manager. I support him. I'm constantly working for him, and we write songs together. We wrote our wedding song, "I Love." It's on YouTube, and
Hey.
this man here, I never experienced anything like this out of my marriages that I've been with. So he still today, been 4 years. Um, he opens the car door. He holds my hand everywhere we go. He makes sure I get in the car. He closes the door. Even here to the house, he's constantly watching over me. He cooks for me. He's there for me. You know, I'm in a position right now. I need help, but he is there for me. And he's a praying man. Every morning he gets up and prays 5 o'clock in the morning, and he goes to bed. Before he goes to bed, he's praying. And without that, because God has answered my prayer, because I don't want to be in a relationship where the man is not prayerful, because you can't really trust what they're going to do. And he's been faithful, and he does have a job outside of his career. He is a commercial manager for the maritime business, which is the vessels from all over the world come in to get provisions. He's there. It's what he does.
Okay.
And so, I mean, we live in a third world country. It's not easy, but you can make it what you want it.
That's right. And like I said when we were before going recording, like I can't wait to come visit I want to come. I have a cousin that was in Durban, South Africa, and then he was in Kenya, and now he's in
I
Ethiopia,
love
and
Africa.
and I'm just like, that has been since a child. Like, some people was like, "Yo, where do you get this from? How are you so Afrocentric?" I don't know. This is how I was designed. This is how I was created. Like every time we had the opportunity to do reports, or things of that nature, like I always was like, what? I got free range. I could pick what I want. So I would do reports on Egypt. I would do reports on Africa. Like I would break it down, like, and I would actually literally, like, I do upscale drawings. So I would, look at whatever it is and draw it. I've drawn hieroglyphics on the front of my reports. Like I go all in. I've had history teachers who was like, you're good at every part of history, but
I
they
love
like,
history.
but when it comes to, you know, the African and the black experience part of history, I've always been told by every teacher, you like come alive. Like this is, and like I tell them, excuse me, I had the opportunity to be raised by history, you know,
Wow,
and
wow,
teachers didn't understand what I meant until they had the opportunity to meet my elders. Um,
exactly.
my mom transitioned when I was 8 and she was 28. It was 21 days before my ninth birthday. Unfortunately, she was part of the clinical trials for HIV
Oh,
testing
no.
for the AIDS in New York and Harlem Hospital. So
Mhm.
April 4th of 1990 was when she transitioned, and then the 25th of that same month I turned 9. So I moved in with her grandmother on her father's side in New Jersey because she was originally from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and living with them, knowing their experience. They were born in like 1917 and 1920 and 1937. So getting that experience from them, and their what they remember from what history deems the Harlem Renaissance era. They were there for that. I saw the pictures, the stuff in the movies. They had these pictures in the house, the dress, how they partied, at the different venues and things, and listening to their stories, their experiences, and the griot type stories that they got from their elders, the stories that were passed down through the generations. I got those stories, how they
Wow.
used to pass
Yeah.
time, just my experience with them. So, you know, um, that brings a different aspect
Yes.
to life.
Yes.
And it's not like teachers couldn't tell me anything, but you know what I mean. It's
Yes.
like I know you teaching me what the book says, but I know differently because the folks, when I say I live with history, they were
Right.
there. The stuff that you teaching me, that was their childhood. So
They
I,
can't understand that and
yeah,
receive that because they haven't experienced it. But I tell you for myself, being in this country, I love it. There's so people here respect me. I'm Mama Africa to them, and I try to talk a little bit of French, not much, but my husband keeps me safe and protects me here. But I don't have any fear. We live on the ocean; it's beautiful.
I know, and I saw the
Like,
pictures when you was
we're
on
about
the other
we're about
show.
5 minutes. I think we're about 5 minutes by car. So we go and we eat. We order our fish and our stuff, and we sit and enjoy, each other. So I love it here, and I respect the culture. It's way different, and I tell my husband, USA is got totally a different perspective than what you're used to. I came here, I had to adapt. It was not easy. But when he comes to the USA, he's going to also have to adapt to the changes because it's not his lifestyle. It's not the way that he lives and what he came from.
That's great.
So, but two cultures coming together is just a miracle in itself.
That's great.
um, Living with each other in the same house, and you've got so much stuff going on outside. You got racism, you got hatred, you got all of this. They don't understand. Just because the person is from another culture, another country, doesn't make them any less human. They
That's
have
right.
the same blood. And my husband and I are very close. And I appreciate that. And really, I don't want to come back to the USA. I love it here too much, but he wants to
I know
come,
that's
so
right.
sooner or later we're gonna come, you know. But
But that is awesome because just the fact that he, like you said, he protects you. With social media, we get this never
mhm.
ending battle of protection. Oh, the roles, the this, the that. Like, I wish people would just stop. I get so turned off by that,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying, because y'all know what it is. The man, yes, is supposed to protect. Like let's not
Yes,
act out of
yes,
this. This is why
exactly.
you were created with masculinity, because you are supposed to lead. You are supposed to protect. This is why we were created with femininity, because we were to bear the
Yes,
children. We were to, do everything that you, the man, is not equipped with. We are the balance,
exactly,
the yin and the yang.
exactly.
And people have been trying to force those things to not move. Now,
Mhm.
granted, when one is not present, yes, sometimes, like myself, I have to, stand in the middle and battle in both. I have two young sons, but that doesn't change me. That doesn't make me any less of a woman. Yeah, I'm just a little rough around the edges. And if you can't see the reasons why, and can't see the beauty in it in itself,
Right,
I don't have,
exactly,
I don't have it. I don't have the time. When I say I don't
exactly.
have it, I mean, and I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time to sit here and walk you through this. But I do appreciate the men that can see through that. You know,
Yeah,
there has been like this sort of kind of little air about, when a woman possesses a little bit of masculinity, oh, she's toxic. It's, but until you get to know her and know her
mhm.
story and see
Yeah,
why you gain that understanding, then it's, oh, my
right.
bad. But then
Yeah,
you have those men that see beyond that, and it's not intimidating for them,
right.
and hearing you speak about your husband, he's definitely one of those. Like, he's like, I see all of that, I know all that she can do, but that doesn't make me want to not protect her any less.
Yes,
That
right.
makes it seems like the men that are on that level, that makes them want to protect us even more.
Yes, exactly. And that's where we're at. You know, we fill in the void that he may have, and he fills the void that I may not have. So we complement each other.
That's good. Now we're going to break. Now, the last time the ad wasn't on there, so y'all forgive me. I know my little thing is supposed to tell y'all that there's an ad for our sponsor, but from what I'm looking at for our music guest for tonight, I don't think the ad is attached to it. So unless
Yeah, I see
yeah,
it.
unless super producer, does his little cutting and scratching in the edit department, it might be there when it airs on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but our Blast Artist of the Week is sponsored by the Lee Law Firm. She is also one of our fellow podcasters on Monday nights. She's a
Oh, cool.
dope football analyst. I'm not
Oh,
a Cowboys fan, but I'm loyal to my family. You feel what I'm saying? So I do promote her, even though she's a Cowboys fan, but she's dope. If you are in the Dallas and Fort Worth area and need legal assistance, go to Facebook and look up the Lee Law Firm. And look, as well, after the Blast Artist of the Week's video, there will be an ad for them. So again, forgive me if the ad is not there. I don't work the technical stuff, okay? So tonight, our Blast Music Artist of the Week is another one of my favorites, Elijah Rosario, with Friends That
wow,
Benefit.
wow.
I want my niggas out of here. Always keep it 100, girl, just don't lie to me. No matter the issue, girl, I won't judge you. Might be a hot pill to swallow, but I still love you. Cause whatever you did, I probably done too. Oh, you only see me on the weekend. I know you miss me through the week, no need to pretend. Just know if it don't work out, then we'll still be friends. Maybe later down the road, give this a try again. somebody loves. Ain't no need for complications, we just having fun. But when you with me, make me feel like I'm the only one. Is it lust and love? I don't know, I'm so conflicted. Cause that beat feels like a drug, got me so addicted. Catching all these feelings wasn't my intention. Now we breaking our own rules, we so contradictive. Crossing lines, spending every night together. Giving signs like you tryna be forever. You want me, I want you, problem solved. So if we get involved, always keep it 100, girl, just don't lie to me. No matter the issue, girl, I won't judge you. It might be a hot pill to swallow, but I still love you. Cause whatever you did, I probably done too. Oh, you only see me on the weekend. I know you miss me through the week, no need to pretend. Just know if it don't work out, then we'll still be friends. Maybe later down the road, we just will try again. Try again. Keep it 100, girl, just don't lie to me. Promise my baby, girl, I won't judge you. So just tell the truth, girl, just tell the truth.
Up,
That's a
see,
good
the ad was,
song.
it's a beautiful
Wow.
song, but the ad wasn't there. So now, if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or even an up and coming comedian looking for some extra exposure, then head on over to blastmusic247.com and register for the free, that's FREE. But hold on. Blast is not just for artists. You know, you could be fans too. You know, we do what Spotify and the rest of them do. Okay. But you can also be a part and you can listen to great music like the one you heard tonight, and you can hear hundreds of more artists who was willing to share their music with you. Then go ahead and register to blastmusic247.com for the what, FREE. That's blastmusic247.com, changing the industry one artist at a time. Yes, Elijah Rosario is definitely one of my favorites too. Him, Yamasani, it's so many. Your husband is also one of my favorites too. So,
He's
it's
number 33 on top 40 on Blast Radio.
yes. So, um I just especially, I love music that's going to pour into you, that is real, that that supports you, because a lot of times people don't have supporting casts. I like to say they don't have a tribe. So
Exactly.
we need to have things externally that can help us and guide us through our storms. So, the music should reflect that like it used to at one point in time. The poetry, the books, these avenues are things that help us, when we don't have that help in the physical form. So with that being said, is hubby going to pop in? I know I see you
Then,
peeking over.
she wants to talk to you. Come on. He has a new single out that came out in December. I've yet to put it on Blast Radio. It's called Sea Girls. You can find it on YouTube.
Yes, I was going to ask about that one because that's the one that I saw. That's the first song and the first video of his that I saw. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, hi. I'm doing good. And you?
That's good. That's good. The reason why, before I get into her sharing some of her poetry, because like I can't stop smiling now. It was cheesing so hard because I heard that we are pregnant.
Oh, yes, we are. Long story on that. I was sick for about a year and a half with something else. And as my husband was taking care of me, I had a vision. And in that vision, I saw the heavens open. And I saw the Lord in a cloud and his face shine like the sun. And below that, I saw the angels. So when I came back from the vision with just a couple of seconds. And when I came back, I told my husband, I said, I can't move. I can talk to you just a little bit, but I can't move my body. I said, the angels are working on me. So the next day, I decided to go to the hospital. And now, mind you, now, before I tell you this, I'm 61, I'll be 62 in October. And so I ended up in the hospital for about a week. They had taken care of what I was going through. And they took some tests and they came in and told me, they said, they tried to talk to me, but they couldn't speak English. And so there was like, the nurse kept saying baby. And I'm like, what are you talking about, baby? you know? So after I got out of the hospital, I said, okay, well, let's stop and get a pregnancy test. And the pregnancy test was positive. I had 5 cents positive. Then about a week later, I went to the doctor and she confirmed it not once but twice. And I'm
Wow.
due in November.
And how many look twins?
This is my third set of twins.
And
We
then
don't
third
know.
set, like when you said that, I was like, wow, oh my gosh.
It
So
was awesome. So it was just God confirming to me because I thought I was going to die. I didn't know what was going on. So that's what happened. And we've been praying about it since we've been married. I told him before I came here, I said I would like to have a baby. And so things didn't take off, but I believe in the process of time,
that's
uh,
right.
the glory of God is going to be revealed. And this is why we want to wait and have the babies here before we come to the USA, because in the USA, as you know, many women go to a doctor and they artificially have this and this and this done. So we don't want to be said that, well, she had this done at her age. And no, honey, it's all natural. It's a
That's
natural
right.
gift.
I went through some rough experiences with my sons. My oldest son, I lost his twin.
Oh,
And I was removed from work after that because the doctor was like, "We want to make sure that you can sustain the other one." So his name is Elisha,
oh,
the
wow.
the double
Nice.
portion. You know,
Wow.
my daughter, as I shared with you, and my followers know, my daughter was killed by a hit and run driver in New Jersey,
Oh, my God.
and she was 2 years old. But 2 weeks before it happened, she had the nerve to sit next to me like she was a grown woman about to have tea with me. She sat down and crossed her legs and was like, "Mommy, I want a baby brother." So, you
Oh,
know,
my.
my aunt, my great aunt at the time, old folks, they come out, "Oh no, I'll take you to the store and buy you one." She was like, "No, the baby got to come from mommy's belly." At 2 years old, she already knew this at 2 years old. So, but I took that time. It was me moving to North Carolina after coming out, healing through my depression of losing her, finally doing the necessary work. And I realized, like, I need to move. I need to move. You know, the creator is telling me to move so that I can work on me more. And
Yeah.
coming to North Carolina, it really wasn't home away from home because, like I said, my mom was born here originally. So it's like a return for me and getting to know this side of me because all I knew
Right.
was my grandfather's side of the family, which is her father's side. And being here and taking that experiences, letting go of some hurts and things, forgave a family member for molesting me, and literally 3 months after that, I found out I was pregnant with my son Elisha.
Oh,
So
wow.
all of those things took in account. I was
Mhm.
visiting a church in Greensboro, North Carolina at the time. Shout out to uh, New Light Missionary Baptist Church because they were very monumental in assisting me in continuing to do the work that I needed for me.
Mhm.
And it was revival. And I'm going through the Bible, and on my own I get over to Second Kings chapter 2, and the conversation between Elijah and Elisha took
Mhm.
me back to the relationship, the conversation with my daughter and me when she asked for a baby brother. So, in turn, I was like, okay, this is his name. This is how I'm going to name him because, in essence, she is Elijah that passed the
Mhm.
double portion
Mhm.
over to Elisha.
Wow.
And I look just like my mother. She looks just like me. He looks just like me. And
Wow.
also my baby boy Isham. And I swear they are like frickin' frack, but they're two peas in the pod. Like, I swear that that's his twin that came back. You know what I'm saying? Because when I said, okay, when we move, you guys are gonna get your own bedroom, they was like, no, I don't want to be in my own room. But
There's a
boys, they
scripture.
fight a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, but they are so close, and they operate like they're twins.
I had before I met my husband, I had a miscarriage. I had twins. I was in a head-on car accident, and I
Mm,
lost them. And you know, scripture is what can keep you going because the scripture, and I believe it is in Isaiah chapter, I think it's chapter 33, and it says that he will give you a double portion for everything that you lost. And that double portion, it comes back to us. And
mhm.
so I'm blessed. I have 26 grandchildren. So
Whew,
yes,
wait a
and
minute. Whew.
here I am going to have babies again.
So
But
wait. Out of the 26 grandchildren, are any of them multiples?
yes, my mother was a twin, and it's supposed to go from one generation, skip one and go one. But my mother was a twin. Then I had three sets of twins. This will be my fourth because I lost one set.
Hmm.
And my daughter ended up being a twin, and I lost her twin, but she survived. And then she had a set of twin girls. So it's been just twin, and my husband was a twin. So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was. We knew what was going to happen. So, but we have names picked out for a girl and a boy, and the girl is Jayla Roll because he's Nene Roll, and his son's name would be J Roll, which means J is standing for, we say Jah. It means God,
That's right.
and it's some beautiful meanings behind the names that we chose. So J Roll
That's right.
and Jayla Roll. Oh, we're gonna go with that. We don't know. There could be some more babies hidden because the thing is, when they found that I was pregnant, there were two bags, not one, but two. So we could be
Oh.
like four
And it
or
could be,
more.
yeah, it could be one hiding behind.
And
Oh my
we have
gosh. Talk
four.
about double portions. Talk about
Yes,
blessings upon blessings.
yes, yes. And he keeps
Wow.
saying, I said, don't you say that. I
Mm,
can't handle four babies at one time. It's just say it two. Two is fine. But whatever God decides to give us, because it is Him who gives.
that's right.
And so He answers prayers. And when we are right with Him, He'll bless us.
That's right. You are definitely right. So, I know I've had the pleasure of hearing some of the poetry and the poetry that was turned into music. So, do you have any that you would love to share with our viewers?
Okay, I have one that is from my first book, I Hear His Whisper. And this became a song, and it was recorded here in Ivory Coast by an artist here, a reggae artist here. And this song here got the attention of thousands, and it brought in over 50,000 in, I think, 54,000 in 4 months, plus then some. And so this really, this came through me by prayer. And as I was praying, I was writing it, and I wrote it in less than 10 minutes. So I hear his whisper. It says, the rush of his winds blow from every side, delivering his whispering call to a deeper place within his love. Beyond all that we know, past every shadow, falling in victory of his love, fanning the flames of eternal light that burns bright. I hear his whisper. He is almighty in power, an overcoming victor, a true testimony where no shame, no imprisonment, or others see weakness. Our virtue of his holiness burns within our soul. Love never fails, is a conquering scepter that sweeps over the soul. Wrapping within his presence, I hear his whisper, a deeper call to a deeper love. He sends more power. He's more powerful than any storm. He opened eyes seeing the manifestation of endless love, becoming our walls of divine protection. When all else fails, his whisper withstands all. A loving voice of eternity, darkness overcome by his marvelous light. a burning light that never withdraws. I hear his whisper.
That is so awesome. That divine protection. You
Yes.
know what we were speaking on, the man, they have the divine protection over
Yeah.
us. They are charged with the divine protection over us. And it's definitely awesome when you get to experience that, and in your life in general, when you have that divinity covering. People just need to take the time to get to know themselves, and getting to know
Yeah.
themselves, will bring forth a connection with their higher power. I'm not one to push or, talk against whatever folks practice, as long as you believe in something,
Yes,
because
exactly.
you exist.
Mhm.
You are existing. So as long as you have something that you cleave to that allows you to continue to
Mhm.
thrive in your existence, I support it.
Yes.
I
You know,
never been one like that.
the Word of God says that we can learn things even through nature. And when I was writing this, and
Hmm.
even today, it still happens. But the little birds would come to my window and they would sing, and I said, "Oh," I said, "You can hear the whisper through the little bird's song." And this is where I God, I hear His whisper. And so you can see in nature, you can see through everything from the oceans to to the birds, to everything that there is. God is in every place. He's high, He's low, He's beside
Hmm.
us. And so this is why I wrote this. And it became a beautiful song. And it's more beautiful in the music than it is with me reading it.
Oh nah, it was still good. It was great. It's a beauty, like when you mentioned the birds, like here. Um, I have Blue Jays, and
Oh,
the
wow.
state bird is, the cardinal. So it's a family of Blue Jays and the
Mm.
cardinals that stay over my house.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
I hear them all of the time, the chirping, and then sometimes when I go sit out in the front, um, the sun rises and sets directly in front of my house, over my house, and the
Wow.
moon rises above my house. It, like, everything
Wow.
rises and sets right where I am. And there's times where I'm up real early and I go out and I hear the birds chirping. So yes, as you were reading that, like, it was taking me back to those
Wow.
mornings where I'm up, because I can relate to that. I hear it.
Mhm.
There's, when people say there are signs everywhere, there's
Mhm.
really messages everywhere.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And nature, that is the natural order of all living things. So
Yeah.
when you take the time to reconnect, to walk through nature, to, like I love to do so much earthing, get the
Mhm.
bare feet out there in the grass. And even if you got time to actually take your hands and get it into the dirt, it's like recharging your body. You're being reconnected with what you came from.
Mhm.
And it's just an awesome experience. So yeah, I definitely appreciated that poem. And like I said, in the song version of it,
Oh,
to me, it's powerful
beautiful.
in both states.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
me, it doesn't take away from it, or it doesn't make it any lesser. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes with music, we get caught up in a track
Yeah, exactly.
and you get taken somewhere, but the spoken word aspect of it, you take the track away and you're focused straight on the words, and the words resonate. They hit in a different way, again, leaving imprints.
Mhm. Exactly. I have one special that I think it comes from my second book, Poetry of Divine Infinity. And
Oh, wait, which is the book that you did in 7 days?
the first book, which is Poetry of Enlightenment, that's where I hear his whisper is. There's
Okay.
about, I think there's probably 20, 30 of the poems that are songs now. And they're listed in the book. In the front of the book, they've got every one that's listed in the line. I made sure that they listed that so they know that each song, each poet, one of these poems are in that category. And there's some really nice ones.
Okay.
You ready for me?
Hmm. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
this one is in my second book, Poetry of Divine Infinity, and that one was written exactly a year later in March of 2018. The first one was 2017. So this one is called. I was really going through something when I wrote this. I was in a lot of emotional pain, and it's called "Mend a Broken Heart." It says, "How can I mend a broken heart? To feel the breeze of joy again. How can I live? Oh, help me, dear Lord, to pick me up from this fall. How can I mend this broken heart of mine? I long to walk through the end. Been so long, I felt the rush of your wind. On bended knee, I fall in prayer. Brokenness is my all. No words I can say, only tears that speak of my way. How can I mend this broken heart? How can I make a new start? Woes and troubles had me bound, for I didn't remain on the path called straight. I lost my focus, for pain had its way. Friends of silence, I found no peace. Foes had taken their place. Oh, how can I mend this heart of mine? I hear a call upon the winds of the mighty God. Only He can mend this broken heart. Upon the feet of His altar, I find a solitude, a kiss upon the soul. A smile upon the pain, the hearts of brokenness is his gain. Toils and snares were my trials. I had to face to win the race. Now this broken heart longing to win first place. How can I mend this broken heart? How can I regain? For the path of pain we walk within the losses still remain. Heaven's gate to enter as we trust the one who molds and shapes. Tears removed by the words, I love you. And the winds will blow, the spirit will carry the broken soul, the wounded heart. Tears cleanse the hurtful path, moving forward from its path. For he sent his angels to protect against the arrows that fly past, the steps of faith that leads to gentle breezes that ease, closing the wounds, now a heavenly trade, for this pain was my gain. Stripes are held between the two worlds, but was the healing we seek then and now have set us free. This broken heart, mine is back in the race for love to take its place.
Man, that right there was so beautiful. Snaps, claps, all that
Thank
good stuff.
you. Thank you.
So you said that when you wrote that one, you was very, it was like from a very emotional
Yeah. I
portion.
was longing to get back the joy that I lost because of all the suffering that I went through in the relationship and some things that was going on with my children. And I was a prayer warrior, and this came to me so from my very heart, my very soul was bleeding in pain and hurting, and I wanted to be free. I didn't want to feel those things that I was feeling, and this is what it's talking. How can I mend my heart? How can I step back up from where I was? And I'm so low at this point. So I'm trying to find a way and understand it. I was how could I say it? I was still walking in my steps of living for God at the time. So I had to place that in my sorrows and my trials, that I knew that one day if I just kept praying that God would release me from that pain, and he did. It separated me. Oh, I think about a year later. So we have to go through things sometimes that are very painful, very stressful, and we don't have answers. But God wants us to come to Him and give Him our all. He will carry us on His shoulders, and He will mend those things, and He will repay what the enemies have done to us. And so we just have to just be still sometimes and be quiet and just let God fill us. I'm also a minister. I'm a prophetess, and that has just all the things that I went through from a child to adult. It's just been a blessing. And the question came today: how can you be thankful in a situation like that? Well, you ask a 12-year-old child how do you cope with it? A child cannot cope with it, and so they have to remain in a position until something happens that they're taken from that. So as 12-year-old, I ran away from home and I never went back. My dad,
Mm,
oh yeah, I went through some major stuff, and I just couldn't take it as a child anymore. So I lived on the street. I worked in the fields. I picked different things, grapes and what have you, to survive. I was in survival mode, and it's made me who I am today. And the love that I have, um, even for the people, forgiveness is power. It is the power within us. It sets us free. In 2012, I lost my dad, and the things that he had done to me were very serious. And he went to prison a couple of times over it. And he called me on the morning that he died, and he told me, he said, "Please forgive me. I know what I've done was wrong, and I have
mm,
before God." He was not a God believer. He didn't want to hear about God. He didn't go to church. And but on the day that he died, he called me to say he was sorry. And that forgiveness was so powerful. And I still love my dad. I always did. And I forgave him instantly. And that was the last thing I ever heard from him.
mm. Well,
So
he left you some peace in the
yeah,
midst of it,
it did. It
and,
did.
and and that's the greater benefit of it all. Um,
Depends on the person, how far do they want to go, because you, at the age of 12, I took an overdose. I didn't want to live anymore, and I was hurting so bad. I was so alone. I didn't have anybody to. My mom, she was a victim as well, so what could she do? But so things took, there's things that transpired in all of it. And I'm thankful for everything, even the things that we think that are bad. God said all things in Romans 8 and 28, all things work together for the good to those who love him and are called to according to his purpose. So I believe that my purpose, all these things that happen to me, God is going to use me in those situations that others are in, to release them and hopefully deliver them as well. We're not here for ourselves, we're here for others.
that's
And
right.
that is a big, to me, surpassing all of that. It doesn't stay right here. But when I go and I have to talk about it, then there is a little bit of emotion that comes. But I don't think it's so much as hurting from it, but
Mhm.
remembering where I came from and where I'm
That's
at
right.
today.
Because in the midst of it, the tears can be about the pain and the struggle
Yeah,
of it. But then when you're reflecting, the tears are
yeah,
now the tears of joy of where I used to be and
yes,
where I am now.
yeah,
So the crying, the tears are healing for the soul. That's how we exercise our emotions. So if we
exactly.
don't get the opportunity to emit those feelings, they fester and they grow and they
Mhm.
can manifest into something that's just not um that's not beneficial to our lives,
Mhm.
and
And and God can stop anything at any moment. But if He allows it to come into your life, it's for a purpose.
there it is. There it is right there. That is it right there. There is purpose in everything, just like there is order in chaos. You just
Yes,
don't know the order, but there is order in everything. We
yes,
all are not designed to see it. Some of
exactly.
us are made to see, while others are made to not to follow, but they are made to be protected by the ones who see. That's the duality and the accountability. Like I always talk about, in life we must be accountable for the things that we say and do in our actions, and the duality is me holding on to information does not benefit me once I've gotten what I needed. It is my duty to pass it on, which also deals in the duality or the reciprocity that there is in life, which also supports the yin and the yang, the balance of it all. But
Right.
people get information and they get blessed. Oh no, I gotta hold it all for myself, and then
Yeah,
don't realize
exactly. It's
why
not
it
supposed to be like
doesn't
that.
work. Yeah, it doesn't
No,
work like that.
it sure doesn't. And we can take this even a little further and take a good look at this lyrics of what comes out of this, because you could say we're ministering to others. It is a form of
Right.
ministry, and I love that. I love helping people. I love doing things for people. And I'm very selfless. I don't think about myself, and whatever I can do for somebody. Um, I've seen so many things, even here in the Ivory Coast. It's a lot of people on the street, little children coming up to you begging you for food. And I'm like, I will take what I have and just give it to them, you know?
Hmm.
Um, it's just we have to be a witness of the light. That is the importance.
That's right. That's right. So, Big Records.
Mhm.
I gotta shout out Big Records and let you speak about your position with them, since
Mhm.
we are partnered with you guys, getting
Yeah.
more independent artists out there. And from my understanding, Big Records is an independent record label as well,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
so let's give the people some background
Yes.
because I be out here pushing blast music. I be getting my people like, hey, I told y'all I always like to be, they call me the plug, okay, in a good way, because I got the information. Hey, you doing music?
Mhm.
Hey, let's put your music out on here. Hey, it's free. Hey, they got a tip jar. It's not like Spotify and the other platforms. No, the tip jar comes to you. All the
Mhm.
stuff that I hear people say that they're having issues with on these other streaming sites. I know Blast is independent artists who created an independent platform who understands the struggle and want to make sure that the independent artist gets their shine. Just the
Yeah.
same reason why I do my podcast for the poet.
Mhm.
So let us know a little bit more about Big Records.
Big Records is an independent label. We are a service label. We don't, we're not out for big money for the artist. We are trying to help the artist. So we have how the best way I can explain it. The contract is for Big Records and Rise Up TV show for touring. And we offer the artist a package deal. It's not very expensive, but and it gives the artist a freedom to give us what they would like for us to do within the services. Most of your big time labels, they are really they're out for the money. They're not out for the artist. We are out for the artist to help the artist. And
Okay.
so, I mean, I don't have a lot of information on that. I just know that Big Records World is just a service label to present for the artist to give a little, and they get all of this, and it's just really an awesome thing. And they just won the Atlanta Awards. They took home 9 awards, golden and silver. There was one artist that took home 3 awards in that one, Atlanta, Georgia. And my position is crazy. I love it though. But I had before I came to Big Records, I was already doing promotions with my own agency, Shop and Top Artists International Promotions, and I'm still doing that. And there was an artist that I was helping, and he referred me to Big Records, and I've been with Big Records now since October of 2022,
Hmm.
and I'm still learning. It's a different ball game, different kind of promotions. I'm into the radio interviews. I send the music to the radio stations, and I do uh, magazines for the artists and get their magazine articles done. I'm a little bit of everything,
Okay.
and so it is. I've been kind of behind a little bit the last 3 weeks due to sickness, but I'm getting back in. We've got a whole bunch of new artists coming in, and it's just wonderful. And now, to add to my position, I'm in charge of the awards for the artists, getting them involved in the awards and seeing that they get nominated. And I love it. It's an awesome thing. So yeah,
I
it's
can't wait to go. This the ISSA Awards
oh,
is every year, right?
yes. I'll
I
get you
can't wait
one
because I'm
day.
going next year. I am
Yes, you
going.
are. You're
I
going to
am
be
going.
nominated. Yes, you are. I told Troy that. I said, Troy, we're new. I don't know if we can win. I said, yes, you can. And I put him in the nominations and I registered him, and He got to go. This year, I think, was a little bit difficult because there was 70 trophies that went out, and usually
Yeah,
there's not that many. So I was nominated and didn't win, but I did win by those who I helped, and they won. So that
that's
was
right.
more beautiful for me.
Yeah.
My husband won last year. He got a bronze trophy for Songwriter of the Year, and
Okay.
so we're going to try again next year. But
Okay.
yes, you
Yeah, like
can. You
I like to go.
can
I told Troy, I said, look, I want to go to in the supporting aspect, and I wanted to go for the networking purposes and stuff like that. So, you
yeah,
know,
I
that's
will
my
tell
thing.
you.
I
It
go
is
seek
a
the
big door.
information. I go
It is a
seek the
big door
information and I bring
opening.
it to the people. So I
Yeah.
know next year I'm preparing for it. Hopefully it's the same first weekend in August. I already know the hotel that I will stay
Yeah.
at because the hotel where I get my little hotel points from is 4 minutes driving from where they had the venue at. So if they have it
Oh,
there
wow.
next year,
Wow.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely there because
Well, we
that
hope to be there so we can meet. And there's so
yes.
many people that would like to meet us, and it's just been really difficult because he has put in for his visa. It's been with the COVID, it set us back,
Yeah,
and so
it's
we had to
messing
reapply
everything up.
again.
Yeah.
And that's all we're waiting on. We're planning on to move to Florida, and he's got some people waiting on him there for the music, and it's just going to be an amazing thing. So
Oh, I can't wait till y'all move to Florida. Then I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be like that distant cousin that come visit.
that's okay. You can
Cause
come.
I have family. My Umi, my stepmother, she lives down there in Florida, and I have some
Mhm.
siblings down there, and a good friend of mine, and some cousins. So I
Mhm.
was in Miami last year for my birthday. So, you know, I could drive down there. I done drove to Orlando. It's nothing. I drive everywhere. So if I can't
Oh,
fly,
that is
yeah.
awesome.
If I can't fly, I'll drive it. Like when I want to go somewhere, I'm going. Like
Well,
that's just what it is.
eventually, I think because, like I said, he's in the Maritime, so they have the Maritime in Atlanta. They have it in Florida, and I would love to move to Atlanta, and that would be so awesome. Florida, I'm kind of scared of the hurricanes, so I don't know how long we're
Well,
gonna
see,
be
we got
there.
well, see here we're in hurricane season right now, so it affects us here in North Carolina too.
Oh no.
So yeah, and I'm
Oh.
not even near the coast. I'm more inland, but it still affects us inland as well. So it is what it is. And look, anything that doesn't I would like to move anywhere where I don't have excruciating winters, and it's getting me.
Yeah.
I moved to the south to get away from the snow, and then when the
Oh
snow
my
comes here,
goodness.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think I need to move
Robin, come here. You
further.
have to talk to Nene Roll over here because he wants to be in a place with the snow. I said, no, you don't. This hot. We don't have anything but hot tropical weather year round. There's
And see, and I love that, but for some, I can understand for someone who's never experienced it, they want that experience. I will say, Nene, visit, do not move,
you heard her. She said, just
visit,
visit.
do not move.
I
Because
know.
you take it from
Oh,
somebody that lived in New Jersey where we experienced all seasons, and the snow was only good for when I was a child going out making money snow, shoveling driveways. After that, it gets in the way. You have to walk in it, you have to drive in it. It's just messy, 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 and it slows stuff down. And no, I don't like it.
the
I
people
don't get that.
here, they're called sun people. They're very hot to the touch. And my husband, his blood is hot. I said, but well, you know what? You just wait until you get in that snow. You're gonna change your mind. You're gonna want to go back to the hot weather.
Yep. Because people are shocked. They like, you are from one of the coldest states that there is. How do
Oh
you
my
not
goodness.
like it? How do you like, I like
Mhm.
tropical weather. That's just it. And my birthday's in
Mhm.
April. And they're like, you're not even a summer
Wow.
baby. It does. I like what I like. My body responds. The melanin in my body
Yes,
reacts more to tropical
exactly.
weather,
It's
than it
really
does anything else.
the melanin here is very, very strong in them. And I have to, let me tell you, morning, noon, and night, I've got the air on. I need that cold. you know, I'm missing my cold. But I don't know if he'll be able to handle it, but we'll see. And
Yeah,
so
well,
it's
he'll be
good.
able to handle it. Don't go to New York. Don't go to Chicago. Don't
Wow.
go, don't go to Detroit, don't go to Jersey, unless you're visiting. Because
Now,
at least the winters in the
Miami.
South aren't as bad as the winters
Uh-huh.
in the North.
Okay. Miami reminds me very much of Ivory Coast. It looks like Ivory Coast. It is the weather is the same. I love it. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But I know that he wants to further his career. He's got a manager and he's got a producer there waiting on him. My husband is reggae, but he's not reggae. He has a little bit different tone. He's Afrobeat dancehall.
Yeah, like Burner Boy.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think he'll do very well.
Oh yeah, he definitely will, because the way Burner Boy is taking over, like his sound, like every time I hear something to him, I think of your husband. You
Oh
know,
wow,
yeah, like,
wow,
so he's right in there. The
wow.
even I will say, even with the Capleton vibe, that sound with
Mhm.
who else can I like even compare him to? Oh, who was it? Because somebody, I was playing it and I'm trying to remember. Someone thought he was another reggae artist, and I said no. I said no, that's not. I said, remember the interview we was watching? I said, this is her husband. And I'm like, this is, I said, he's not, he's of a different, it's with the Afrobeat infusion and
Right.
stuff like that. And they couldn't believe it. They thought he was straight from Jamaica.
Oh my
And it's,
goodness.
yeah.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, well, we are the same anyway. When I go to Jamaica, they've always said, welcome
He does
home, stuff like
but
that.
in our concerts, I was watching him and I said, now, calls himself reggae. I don't see it. Now, this is a reggae country. And I don't see the reggae. But then he did a little dance and I said, oh, there it is. So, but he's reggae, Afrobeat, reggaeton. There's something else I'm missing. But yeah, I love his music. We write together and we're working on some projects now. We need to work on a new project for next year for the awards. He doesn't have a new. He has a new song, but it's going to be over a year old, so it has to be at least a year or younger. So we've got to work on some things. We've got some. We got some awesome ones that we need to work on. But I love the lifestyle. I didn't never think that I was going to be married to an artist, and that wasn't my purpose, but it happened, and I'm thankful for that, for the experience.
And that is what's up. So I just love it. I can't wait to have you both back on the show again. I can't wait to see you on other podcasts. I can't wait to meet you in person. Hopefully it's before the next ISSA awards.
Oh,
So
definitely.
I cannot wait. Thank you so much for accepting the opportunity to come on my podcast. So now run down all your socials, how people can find you,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Well, I have two, for myself, I have two Facebooks. I had to create a new one that's unlimited because on my other Facebook, Cindy H. Nene, I'm 5,000. So, and I didn't want to have to keep deleting because they're mostly artists. So I created a new Facebook, Cindy Nene without the H. So they can
Okay.
come, they can send me a friend request on there. I might get one or two requests more on my other one, Cindy H. Nene. But the main one, that is the main Facebook, and the other one is the second Facebook, which is Cindy Nene. And
Okay.
so that would be the best one to send a new friend request if they want to do that. Social media, pretty much I deal with Facebook. I'm not really into social media, but I do social media with Facebook because of the music and the artists, so I keep
Gotcha.
that open.
Okay, so y'all heard how to find her, and I want to share what I just found out the other day.
Uh-oh.
So our I call him one of the super producers, Veep for the vice pres, aka Troy, who we've been mentioning, who like I said, this is a pre-record, so he has his first podcast, Implosion, starting tomorrow, because this is Wednesday that we are pre-recording for Friday. So in in the perfect world, his podcast was yesterday, for the sake of when this airs. But he has been working. And when I say working, working, because I just found out. Now, I already knew that when our podcast go live, that we're on blastmusic247.com's Facebook page, Blast Music Radio's Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. But 2 nights ago, I heard my voice on Pandora.
I have got to find that.
And so
Anyway,
so you look up, so when you go on these streaming apps, okay, you're still going to search for Blast Music 24/7. They have a separate thing for podcasts. You got music, you got podcasts. When you go to podcasts, look up Blast Music 24/7. It is a list of all the podcasts on the platform. So I heard my voice on Pandora, but we're not just on Pandora. I have to keep correcting myself. Well, I don't have to. I am speaking about myself right now, but the inclusion thing, as you see, I'm doing it, all of us on the platform. So those independent artists, they get that additional exposure through us because we are streaming on these other platforms. So that is the audio streaming. We have Apple Podcasts, Pod Paradise, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Podcast Index, Listening Notes, Stitcher, Pandora, Spotify, and also Amazon Podcasts. Now, I was joking with other super producer D Ray, aka Soul Rest, and I said, now I gotta put Spotify back on my phone. I just deleted that app. Like, I had all of these platforms when they first started. When you didn't have to pay for anything, I had SoundCloud, Spotify, all of that stuff, you name it. But then when they started making all of these changes and wanted all of this information, I deleted them. So now I got to put it back on there because now I'm on that platform. I've been just telling folks to go to YouTube and Twitter and everything. So now I got to get into the habit of this, and it's a good feeling. Like,
yes, exactly.
and who knows? I might be doing radio too. So, whatever it is, I'm here
Let me
for
go
it.
to
Yeah,
that.
like
I hear you rapping, girl.
like I hear it. Like I hear it and I see it. I've always wanted to have a podcast. I talked about, wanting to do this once I moved to North Carolina in 2009. And then boom, here it is, almost a year that I've actually finally had the opportunity. So I'm just grateful again to Veep for seeing it and not even knowing that this was part of my vision for me. So I just love it. Blast is dope. And I just want to continue to help folks to shine as well. As more as I shine, I want to help others shine as well. And again, Cindy, I appreciate you. I thank you so much. Are there any last words, anything you want to leave the people with about you or something, for themselves to take away from this interview before we end?
I just want to say thank you, and encourage everyone that they can go beyond what they think and just to be positive toward themselves, believe in themselves, and just let it come as it flows. And I want to say thank you so much because you're so sweet, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you. I appreciate you having me. I really do, and we're going to see each other again.
That's right. We definitely will. And I love you as well. And y'all already know, y'all be safe out there.
Yes.
Technically it's Wednesday, but technically for this airing, it's Friday. So again, like I say, be good to yourselves, be good to
Yes.
others, be safe
Yes.
in this evening, be safe over the weekends, and continue to love on each other more because we're seeing so much of
Amen.
the others. But if we get back to loving, we will see the change that we all speak of, all that we all yearn for. So
Yes.
peace, 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 y'all, and see y'all next time.